My parents kicked me out because I'm gay. Now I won the lottery and they want me back. Part 2. In the beginning, I was suspicious of her. Due to how she treated me in the past, I didn't think she was telling the truth. I told her what I thought, and she burst out crying. Then she showed me the messages between her and her girlfriend. They were convincing and dated back several months, so I believed her. I set her up in the spare room and we went back to bed. Jack told me from the beginning that he didn't believe her, but he'd support me in everything that I did. For the following days, she was very sad and stayed in bed most of the time. I remembered how I had felt when I'd been kicked out by her parents, so I tried to talk to her and cheer her up as much as I could. I didn't spend much time at home, but when I was there, she was the sweetest person ever. She was nice to me and Jack, went to college on time, and she didn't give us any problems. She was studying at a college that was a bit of a distance from where we stayed, so she needed transport nearly every day. I gave her the money without hesitation, and every morning she would go to college. I also gave her cash for her basic needs. One of the things that she kept on talking about was how she was behind on payments. Since our parents had disowned her, she didn't have any way of paying for her college fees. I decided to think of a solution to the problem. She acted like a good person for all of 2 days. She would wake up in the morning and make breakfast for us, and then she would cook when she came home from school. That should have been a sign from the beginning. The old her that I knew was very lazy and selfish, but I figured that she had changed and was trying to be a better person. But when I tried to talk to her about our parents, she got very sad. She'd break down in tears, crying over how our parents had treated her. I hated them for what they had done to us. No one deserved parents like them, who wouldn't accept their children. I tried all that I could to comfort her, and she started to feel better. We grew closer, and I started to feel like I could trust her, but all of that changed gradually as the days went on. Jake told me several times that he caught her having secret phone calls, but she would hide the phone when he saw her. I didn't think too much of it, but I decided to keep an eye on her. Then one morning, I noticed that one of the products that I used for my hair was missing. It was a very expensive product that Jack didn't use, so naturally I suspected her. Our bathroom was separate from the guest bathroom, and everything worked fine in both. The guest bathroom had everything needed, so I wondered why my product was missing. I figured that it was her, but I didn't say anything. She was still sad, so I didn't bother her. It was also just a product that I could easily replace without making a big deal about it. The next morning, Jake told me that his headphones were missing. He had looked for them all over the house, but he couldn't find them, so he decided to ask her about it. She apologized and said that hers weren't working, so she borrowed his. She had this bad habit of borrowing things and not returning them, and she would blame it on her not feeling good emotionally. There were also strange things that were happening in the house that I couldn't put a finger on. I would notice that some food items were not lasting in the house, even though we had regularly shopped. When we asked her about it, she denied having anything to do with it. She would break down and cry, saying that I didn't want her there, that she would stop eating if it made me happy. She was basically gaslighting me. She also kept on asking when I was going to give her money for college. I asked to see her marks first before I did anything, but she never got the marks to me, always making excuses when she could. One of the strange things about her was that we never saw her girlfriend, even once. She kept on making excuses that her girlfriend was busy, etc. That was when Jack started to doubt that she was lesbian. Everything checked out. She had tons of pics with her girlfriend in her room, so I didn't think that she was lying to me. One time, Jack got impatient and asked her to invite her girlfriend over for dinner. My sister got a bit fidgety. I know that she gets like that when she's in trouble, cause I've known her for years. So I agreed with Jack and said that she should bring the girl over. She brought the girl over, but they didn't seem to know a lot about each other. When I asked what their anniversary date was, they both gave us 2 different answers. When I asked her about it afterward, she gave an excuse that it was a new relationship. They also didn't even touch the whole time that they were sitting next to each other. I wasn't expecting PDA, but people who are dating have a certain way that they act around each other. So I got suspicious and asked a friend who was good at tech to look into her social media, etc. to see if there were any clues, cause I didn't have the time. One weekend, Jack and I went for a getaway because it was our anniversary, and we left her with the house. I told her before we went that she shouldn't invite anyone over. She promised that she would behave and that we could trust her. But when we came back, the house was a mess, and there were several people in the house. I kicked everyone out, and I spoke to her. I told her that due to how she had acted, I couldn't let her stay in my house anymore, as she was taking advantage of our kindness. She cried once again, and she promised that she had made a mistake, and said that she would change. I told her that it was her last warning, and that she had to clean the mess that she had made. We moved on from the situation. A few days later, I got a screenshot from my friend, which showed a recent Instagram post from my sister. It was a picture of her and a guy, and it was captioned, "I miss you, babe." I showed the post to Jack, and he told me to ask her about it. But I knew that she was probably gonna deny it or explain it somehow, so I decided to get proof. I checked her Instagram on my own, but I couldn't find her account, which meant I was blocked. I tried using Jack's account, but her account was private, so I came up with another plan. Growing up, we had a cousin named Katie, to whom she was very close. Katie knew everything there was to know about my sister. I figured that if anyone knew, then it had to be her. So I called Katie on that very day, and I found out some very interesting things. At first, she tried to lie about the whole thing, insisting that my sister's gay. But when I offer to buy her anything she wants, she spilled the beans. She tells me that Mina, my sister, told her days ago that she had a plan to make a lot of money. She told her that I had made a lot of money recently, so she planned to trick me in order to get my money. Since the dinner plan had failed, she had come up with a new one. She told our parents the plan, and due to their greed, they agreed without even thinking twice about it. She came to my house in the middle of the night and lied to me. She was dating the guy in the picture with her, and they'd been dating for a while now. The girl that we had met was just a friend of hers that she had asked to help her with the plan. I hung up and told Jack all that I'd been told by her cousin, and we decided that we were gonna kick her out. We waited for her to come back from college, and when she came back, we confronted her. When I showed her the picture that my friend sent me, she lied and said it was photoshopped. I knew that she was going to say that, so I told her what our cousin had told us about her plan. She started crying again because she was very good at crocodile tears. I had fallen into her trap and nearly given her a lot of money because she played with my emotions. I didn't react to her crying, and I told her to tell me the truth at that very moment. She told me that I was very selfish because I didn't want to give her money and that I'd only taken her in because she said that she was lesbian. She told me that she wasn't a stupid gay person like me, and she would never be. She said that I was stupid for trusting her in the first place. Things got really heated, and we exchanged a few words. I was very upset with her, and I told her that she and our parents were pathetic people who were only hungry for money. I told her to leave my house and to never come back again. She became very angry, and she told me that I shouldn't kick her out because she was sorry. Her behavior suddenly changed and she acted like she was decent, but I saw straight through her. I told her to pack her things and to get out of my house before the end of the day. I went back to my room to go and get some work done. Suddenly, I heard loud sounds downstairs. There was a lot of shouting, and I heard Jack and Mina's voices. I quickly rushed downstairs and saw a horrific sight. Most of my cutlery was now on the floor, in pieces. The feathers that were in my cushions were now strewn all over the house. She was destroying my house, and Jack was trying to stop her. It was almost like she was possessed. He couldn't even hold her back. I stormed over to her, and I yanked her back from my couch, which she was defiling. The next thing I knew, something heavy hit me on the head. I fell down, and I stayed down for a few seconds. I was in a lot of pain. Before I could even register that, she started to scratch at me. A few seconds later, Jack pulled her off me. When I managed to get up, I saw that she was trying to escape from the house. I tried to get up to chase after her, but I noticed that I was bleeding from my head. I later found out from Jack that she had actually hit me with a small but heavy vase on my head. The damage to the house was more than you could imagine. In that short time, she had completely trashed my house and left me bleeding. Jack insisted that I go to the hospital and get stitches, and get checked for a concussion before doing anything. I agreed to go with him to the hospital because I was not feeling that great. We got a report from the doctor and she asked me what had happened. I told her what had happened and she advised me to keep the medical report safe and to report the incident to the police when I was ready. We went back to our wrecked house. I wanted to contact my parents and let them know what their brat had done, but Jack forced me to get some rest, and then we would see what we would do the following day. I was deeply hurt by her betrayal and what she had done to my house. It had cost me so much money and she had decided to break my stuff. I was at my wit's end with her and my family. The next morning, I hired people to clean the house. I got a quotation for how much it was going to cost to replace all the stuff that she had broken. It was a lot of money. There was no way that I was going to fork out so much money just because of a brat who didn't know how to treat people right. I took the invoice and I mailed it to my parents' house and told them to figure out how they were going to pay for fixing my house. I didn't care if they had to beg or borrow. Vandalizing private property was very childish of her. I got a call from them a bit later on, and they were apologizing to me. I told them that I would only accept their apology once all of my broken stuff was replaced. They reacted the way that I thought they would. They got really upset and told me that I was being dramatic over a few cups and plates, and that I still owed them the money for her college fund. I told them that I wasn't going to give them a cent of my money. Then, they took it too far by coming to my house one day. They refused to leave until I gave them money. She had the nerve to show up at my house after what she had done to me? I called security and managed to get them thrown out. I'm done playing nice with them. They are not allowed to come into my neighborhood, and I have cut off all contact with them. Due to the medical proof that I have for what my sister did to me, I have enough evidence to build a case against her. I'm gonna sue her for the destruction of property. And I'm also gonna file for a restraining order for my whole family because I don't want anything to do with them anymore. The end. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force. And stay wholesome.